My name is Silvia Gonzalez. I live at 103 Wickford Way, and I'm very ashamed of the way things have happened here tonight. We should all take a good critical look at ourselves and not be pointing fingers without any real information. It's hearsay. Oh, he did this. Oh, he told Harada. He did that. That is unfair. And you wouldn't like it if it was you that was being censored. I'm sorry?
I'd be afraid to answer, but I would be accused. Thank you for filming.
Well, I think that he is a person on his city, in this city, and he's trying to help the people on his street.
Accused of a criminal act, okay, and I am going to act on it.
You're not supposed to respond to me, Mayor.
I can respond to you when you want. This is not a non-agenda item. Go ahead.
Well, you keep interrupting me. Well, in order to be an effective leader, you have to get along with the people you work with. If you can't get along, then you can't focus on what the city needs. We need our streets and our drainage fixed. And it's your responsibility on the city council to make decisions for us. And I think Mr. Gregory does a very good job on council. I know there's a little clique, all of y'all stick together and you vote one way, he votes another. But guess what? I never learned anything from someone who agreed with me, but I've learned a lot from people who disagreed with me. Thank you.
Okay, next in line. Jacqueline Ackley.
Good evening, Council. I'm Jacqueline Ackley from 118 West Castle Lane. Two quick things and then a little story, if I may. We've heard from many people on Council, and many will speak later. I hope Douglas Gregory will speak later, because it seems like everyone should be having a chance to be heard. Secondly, I'll follow on what Stephen mentioned. I like the analogy to the Olympics about the ice skating. There's judgments, did they do 3 turns or just 2? Those are numerical. But then there's subjective assessment of the performance, its creativity, artistic quality, etc. In any complex issue, there has to be a human and subjective overarching judgment to include objective data for sure, but not exclusively based on objective data only. So the OCI is mathematical. I'm a math major. I do love that concept. But judgment is even more important, the human judgment. Our street is West Castle Lane, and it was one of the first streets to be fixed, and we didn't even really think there was a big problem there. But there was an alternative thing to consider, which was that Saws needed to put their water main through at the same time, and it was more economical to repave the street once, not twice. So see, there's outside information in addition to OCI that made that a very good decision. So sometimes the OCI is not perhaps the be-all, end-all of the decision. If I had more than 3 minutes, I'd tell you my story, and you would enjoy it. May I
You have
do
a
that?
minute and 30 seconds, Aki.
Well, then I won't tell the complete story. But the gist of the story is what my father always told me: this nation needs the skills and talents of all of its citizens. We have but 5 council people, and Lord golly, we need all of your skills. I've seen people take their own time and gas money to go to the state legislature and speak for legislation that helped us. I've seen vigorous, youthful young faces who want to give even more time and have more meetings to propel our business forward. I've seen stable, long-serving individuals who've been somebody that we can count on. And I've seen Douglas Gregory tackle streets and drainage, an unforgivable task that involves knowing engineering, interacting with other city governments to get them to pay their part, and to get funding, which is never an easy thing to get. God bless him for doing that. But everybody has their own interest and passions, and they don't conflict, they're complementary. We, the citizens, thank you for all of that, and I hope you will thank and support one another. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Next in line is Terry Worth.
Terry Worth, 124 West Castle Lane. Thank you, Mayor, City Council persons. I am standing here on behalf of Peter Bella. Peter is unable to attend tonight because of a conflict, and hopefully that's not a problem for me to read his comments. If I can turn to the right page so we can get it going. And Peter says, I'm opposed to the censure of City Council, of Councilman Douglas Gregory proposed in resolution number R18-02-13B, which is up for consideration and action on tonight's agenda. A motion for censure is premature. According to the resolution, quote, the administrative inquiry report dated October 2017 has been provided to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office of Public Integrity for further review and inquiry, close quote. The only access I have to the administrative inquiry report itself is due to a post dated December 15, 17 on Nextdoor by Raphael J. Veraza, one which contains a link to a Google Drive document purporting to be the report in question, allowing for now that this is an administrative inquiry report in question. According to page 2, which is page 5 of 108 pages of that document, the report states, quote, at first glance of discovering an OCI number change such as this, the councilman was concerned on several fronts. Was this a criminal act reference Texas Penal Code 3710, tampering with government record, and or Texas Penal Code 39, abuse of official capacity, or was the OCI change a mistake, close quote. The question is not answered by Castle Hills Police Chief Wayne Davis in his concluding remarks on page 9, page 12 of 108 pages of the report. Given that, last page almost, number 1, the administrative inquiry report has been provided to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office of Public Integrity for further review and inquiry. 2, in his concluding remarks, Chief Davis writes, quote, in my opinion, this case does not carry a criminal element. The issues that were brought up by Councilman Trevino are found and should be recognized within the report, close quote. And 3, the assessments of intent range from that of a, quote, criminal act, close quote, or to, quote, a mistake, close quote, but have not been decided or certified by the police either within the Castle Hills or the Bexar County Sheriff's Office.
Terry,
or
is there anyone that would like to give their time to Terry?
Anybody want to give me their time? Okay, thanks, Gene. I consider it appropriate that the City Council delay any presumptive actions prior to any further review.
You're not signed up, sir. Is there anyone else?
I'm sorry?
He's not signed up to give time. Thank you, Thomas.
I consider it appropriate. Thank you, Your Honor, Mayor. I consider it appropriate that that brings back times when I was getting a traffic ticket. I think I said, Your Honor. I consider
We'll
it
subtract out 15 seconds just for that.
I consider it appropriate that City Council delay any presumptive actions prior to any further review and inquiry from the Bexar County Sheriff's Office of Public Integrity. I ask that you vote against resolution number R18-213B censoring City Council Member Douglas Gregory. Peter Bella, 110 Hibiscus Lane. In closing, I appreciate y'all's willingness to volunteer and do what you're doing. I just hope that objectivity and a sense of collaboration can prevail. And many times said, people learn more from those that have different opinions on things, and together they can arrive, hopefully, at agreements that y'all are elected. And I just hope that y'all just work together and work through these matters and figure it out. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Terry. Pat McCord.
Good evening, Council. To correct inaccuracies and point out the unprofessional behavior of our current mayor, as to my last name, it is not McCormick or McLeod. I am Pat McCord, 409 Antler at Honeysuckle. My late husband, Mike McCord, was a resident of this community for 41 years before his death in 2015. I have lived here for 22 years. Last year, upon approval of the current mayor, I was asked to be a part of the Streets and Drainage Committee and attended every meeting except the first one, simply because I did not receive the notification timely from the city manager. All meetings were recorded. At the time of this debacle, I thought it rather strange that I was never contacted about the actions of this committee. And also strange was the fact that when the media was brought in, their participation was so incomplete, the residents on Briarcliff were never contacted. It was as if Mr. Gregory was the only person living on Briarcliff. Briarcliff was on the list, but not at the top, and Antler was not on top. I couldn't have cared less about the repairs to Antler. The only thing that Mike and I addressed to every candidate who graced our door was getting saws to repair the mess that Bayer Met caused on Honeysuckle. That concern had been addressed for at least 30 years. In closing, no numbers were changed or altered by this committee. If you think you can railroad a councilman who has served this community with honor and integrity for as long as he has, think again. Honor and integrity. Do the rest of you know the definitions of these words? I feel sorry for you if you don't, and I'll pray for you. Thank you.
Brother Dueling.
Brother William Dueling, 201 Gladiola Lane. And I thought I knew what I was going to say before coming over here, but after seeing this charade is the only word I can think of, I really don't know what to say, except I would like to echo Mr. McCormick. I'm also a lawyer, and I think I never in my life have heard of a censure motion with punishment. I think it's illegal, I think it's ill-advised, and I think you ought to really reconsider. I guess I really wanted to start with a little philosophical statement. To remember, if you live by the sword, so shall ye die by the sword. What goes around comes around. And I just think, if you want to censure Mr. Gregg, everybody said, you censured Ms. Winger, well, not you personally, but the council did once before for something. Okay, you can do that. But to punish him and restrict his activities as an elected official violates my rights and everybody who voted for him. And I just think it's so ill-advised. I'm rarely at a loss for words, as most people in this room know. But I think this is so ill-advised that you need to step back, reconsider, and if you can ever find the dirty rat that changed the numbers, then go after him or her. But it wasn't Douglas Gregory. And it's just very sad. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, next in line is Jane Garcia.
Jane Garcia, 111 Hibiscus Lane. Okay. First of all, I'd like to start out by reading the first line in Message from the Mayor in January's Castle Hills Reporter, which Mayor Howell says is a quote from an American poet, a peace advocate who died at the age of 13. Quote, "Unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaboration, comma, wonderful things can be achieved, unquote. The reason I'm up here, my husband, myself, and many of us in this room and in the city are curious, baffled, and disturbed by what we're reading in emails that are circulating and also things we're hearing. What on earth is going on here? First off, thanks to all of you council members for serving. These are volunteer positions, and you choose to dedicate a portion of your time and life to serve and perform work to better your city. This takes time, passion, research, attending meetings, etc., and we know you all bring your unique backgrounds and perspectives to your roles. You are 5 different individuals who have chosen to, we believe, protect and responsibly grow the city you live in and cherish. All of us should be thankful and grateful for what you do. I'm certainly not up there doing it. It sounds like hard work to me. But what is very disturbing is these emails and comments that are going around regarding council members. This whole scenario reminds me of workplace gossip, where people get together and whisper and talk about their coworkers, say things founded and unfounded, true and not true. Instead, we should be functioning as a team, individuals in a collective setting who bring different backgrounds and perspectives, who collaborate, communicate, share creative ideas, discuss good and bad aspects of projects, etc., who are respectful of each other, and work toward the common goal. After all, this is what we all do in our work and in our personal lives every day. All of you up there are bringing ideas and suggestions, implementing new and improving old processes and activities, including Douglas Gregory, who has contributed to the city for many, many years, and always with an eye toward the numbers and finances. We're especially grateful to Douglas because he was a huge factor in us turning away the PUD at 101 Hibiscus. Without him, we would be staring at 15 two-story box houses that would have been terrible for the character of this neighborhood. Douglas's important votes helped send that PUD packing, and that is just one of his many important contributions. Anyhow, at this point, it's hard to sort through facts from gossip, innuendo, personal attacks, and all the, quote, silly stuff. It would be nice if you could all just do your jobs unencumbered and continue to give of your hearts and devote your energy and passion to bettering this city of Castle Hills. Ultimately, it's up to us to know who you are and what you're doing and what you have done. And the citizens will make their choices with their votes about who they want sitting up there, doing the good work for the city. So once again, quote, unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved.
Thank you, Jane. We're going to take just a 2-minute break just to go.